Hello everybody, Pluviophile here. Today we are answering, what is a unique game you played as a child? Let's get right into it. We made up a game called camera tag.Basically hide and seek, but it would have to be in the dark, and you have to have a camera. If you spot someone, you have to take a picture of them with the flash on. If they're in the picture, they get caught and they're out. We would take Dad's snuff can full of rocks and tape it shut. Then we all faced the same way as a designated person threw the can way out in the open pasture at night. All players set out to find it, and if you picked it up and made it back to the finish line, it was a point. The rocks were audible if shaken. If you were able to tackle the runner before he crossed the line, no point in rethrow. First to 5 wins or first to break a bone loses. I'm a camp counselor and we play a game called Screaming Toes with our kids. We get in a circle and pick someone in the group's toes to stare at. Someone counts to 3 and on 3 you look at the person whose toes you were staring at. If that person was looking at your toes too, you both scream and you're both out. The kids love it. Me and my sister would play color copy, where one of us would draw a picture and the other would follow along on their paper. They'd inevitably both be shitty, but surprisingly close. It's almost akin to those wine and painting things where 13 women down a few bottles of wine and all paint the same tree. My sister and I created the Slug Wars. Basically, 2 combatants got backwards into a sleeping bag so their feet were hanging out of the head hole. Then, you blindly battle to the death. Great times. Edit. It's nice to meet so many people who also served in the Slug Wars. Thank you for your service. Baki or bike hockey, even though only one person was on a bike. There were 3 of us. So the game was played 2v1. The 2 people are on rollerblades with hockey sticks and a ball, a hard plastic, street hockey ball. The one person was on a bike. The object of the game was to shoot the ball between the wheels of the bike. If we got it through, we got a point. If he blocked it with his foot, he got a point. We had a 50-yard stretch of our street we'd play on. We actually used to set a timer and play for 3 5-minute periods. I have a thing for tournaments. I don't know what it is, but I love brackets. I've read books with nothing but brackets of random shit. Best vegetable or best vacation spots and shit like that. On my summer breaks from school, I would stay up super late, like 6 a.m., and I would spend my time playing this tournament game while listening to sports talk radio. Basically, I would write down the names of my friends and people I knew and fill out a bracket. I'd flip a coin to see who won. The first round started as best of 5 and they got progressively longer, with a loser's bracket that was best of 3. When a player got enough flips in his/her favor, they would move to the next round. After a champion was crowned, I would calculate all the winning percentages by hand and use their overall records to seed them going into the next tournament. I still have notebooks full of these tournaments in my parents' shed. Elevator. Someone would go into the furnace room, shut the door, and they were in the elevator. The rest of us would rearrange the family room, and bring in different props to demonstrate that we were on a different floor. We changed outfits, accents. We played this for a good year. My cousin and I were convinced that his neighbor's house has diamonds in the garden. We found a bunch of shiny diamond-shaped things in their yard scattered in random places. We used to dig up the dirt hoping no one would notice to find more of these diamonds. I think we found 10 and we split them in half. We would come back again and again looking for them. We made a promise not to tell any other kids or our parents about them. One day my mom found one of my diamonds in the pocket of my trousers and asked me if she should throw it. I was shocked. Why would she throw away an expensive diamond? Turns out, they were glass teardrop pieces of an old chandelier they threw away. I was so disappointed because we even planned to buy a Lamborghini with the money. My brother and I would throw a bouncy ball at the stairs and then tried to be the first to track it down. This kept us busy for hours. Oh man, I remember this fondly. When I was 8 or so, my brother, I, and my best friend played the Dark Man game. It was hide and seek in my parents' basement with the lights out. The person looking for the other two wore a glow-in-the-dark skeleton mask, so the two people hiding could see him, but he couldn't see us. It got really intense at times, trying to find your way in the dark and trying to be as quiet as possible. Also, my parents' basement was unfinished, so occasionally you'd bump into a nail, etc. Made it extra dangerous, lol. Our signature game was loser ball, which went like this. 1. Collect every ball in the house, so lots of tennis balls, bouncy balls, a few baseballs, etc. 2. Scatter them in the playroom. 3. Turn off the lights. 4. Throw the balls aimlessly at each other in the dark until someone cries. Wholesome fun for everyone. Unfortunately, I was the youngest, so I was often the loser. It's not what it sounds like, but my cousin and I used to play the underwear game. We would go into her laundry room, which was in the basement with ample room, and both of us would grab someone's used underwear from the hamper. Then we'd fight each other trying to get the underwear over the other's head. Obviously it was disgusting and had to stop when someone caught us playing it. The bomb game. We threw a ball around, and if you got hit, you had to lie on the ground for 5 seconds before returning to the game. My sister and I and our brother, like cousins, would play this against our uncles, and although I'm pretty sure if we actually kept score, we kicked their asses. Eventually all the uncles and my dad joined in, and the youngest uncle joined the kids' team. He told us he played the bomb game in high school. My younger cousins actually believed this, and we wanted him on our team anyway because he was more like the biggest kid. It eventually became a family tradition. Back in the day when my family actually saw each other. We play Ghost. One person is under a sheet trying to catch everyone else and all the lights are off. Usually takes place in the living room, so people are jumping around on furniture. There may have been 1 or 2 concussions because of this game. Lol. We used to play E.T. in the playground. We'd run about acting out scenes from the film. I had a brown parka, so invariably I'd get to be the lovable alien. Great times. We would play baseball in the street, but with a tennis racket, so we could blast the ball all over the neighborhood. Hide and seek in the dark. I'm sure I'm not the only one who's had fun playing that with siblings' friends. I used to have fun outwitting my brothers. We'd play in the basement, and when they came down with the flashlight to look for us and went off into a room, I'd sneak onto the stairs they came down off the start and hide there. They'd never think to look there because there's nowhere to hide on the stairs, and they just cleared them when they came down. It was funny to watch them walking back and forth in front of the stairs trying to find us. Lol. Spotlight. It is basically hide and go seek, but with key differences. We would don dark clothing and or camouflage, hide in the forest at night, and then wait to be sought out, tracked by the person who was it. Tons of fun. My cousin and I used to play witches. We basically made like a million poems about wishing harm on everyone we hate and would run around in the forest cursing them. We also did more wholesome stuff, like picking up twigs and leaves to put in our potion pots. The potions were also usually to curse people though. We didn't really have a name for it, but when we were on the playground for recess in elementary school, we would play this game where one of us would go about halfway down the tube slide, where it's just like one big hollow tube like what you'd see at a big water park, just not as big obviously. And then someone else would slide down as fast as they could and try to dislodge the first dude. Usually he would fail. Then another would come down and try to dislodge the first two guys. Then another, until Big Mikey would come down and we would all fly out the bottom of the slide like a freshly unclogged pipe. This was because Big Mikey was like 5 times bigger than any of the other third graders. Oh yeah, I think we actually called it clog the pipe, which sounds pretty gay now that I'm recalling it as an adult. Edit. Glad I'm not alone. When all 3 of my siblings were still young children, I'm the big brother of the family, we had a game where I do what was basically improv comedy for them, kinda like SNL or Mad TV. They'd sit on the edge of the bed, and I'd perform using props and my imagination. I had one bit where I'd use Mega Bloks to create a crude handgun, and pretend I'm a cop. When I'd shout, "Freeze!" and draw my pistol, the gun's pieces would fly apart, leaving me with just the grip and a stunned look on my face. It slayed them every time, they'd just burst into laughter and tears. We used to play tomahawk tag with a Nerf foam tomahawk. It was just tag, but you could throw it and nail someone with it. I used to make tiny spaceships out of Lego and give their captains elaborate backstories. For a couple years I had a friend that did this too, and our politics storyline was epic. It was too bad my family had to move back to Street Louis. I wonder whatever happened to that kid. We lost touch as 12-year-olds do. Island of the Blue Dolphins inspired by the book. I'd build a little hut in the living room and collect abalone from the beach, they were shoes, and fight off packs of wild dogs played by stuffed animals. I'd make sure to spend a good portion of the day staring wistfully out towards the sea and weep for my dead brother and my people. My actual brother would try to play with me, but I'd be like, "No. You can't. You're dead." I'd read the book every summer and get inspired to play again. The wolves in the trees belong to me. 3 road/4th grade. I had a wolf pack that lived in the forest near my school. Keep in mind that the forest was a line of 5-10 short pine trees in a line. The wolf pack was my pack and they all listened to me, and the popular girls would get so mad that they didn't have wolves